What's up YouTube, I'm the Car131, and in this video we're going to be testing out some hand-loaded, high-velocity Speer 62 grain gold dot. So as far as the backstory explanation, I guess, for this video, there's not a whole lot to say. I have already tested the 3 different flavors or loadings of Speer gold dot for 223, right up here. Go check it out. But anyway, this beautiful son of a bitch right here, by the name of Blake, good name, commented and said something to the effect of, it's been a while since I actually read the comment, but something to the general effect of the quoted velocity for the 62 grain was, and what he said, I believe, weak. He said he hand loads them to, you should be seeing the comment, but 3150 I think he said. And long story short, we exchanged some messages, emailed a bit. He sent me some right here, and I'm going to be testing them out in some bare gel. So as you can see down here on the table, I have 2 blocks of clear ballistics gel. They are the FBI spec blocks, so 16 inches long, 6 by 6, tall and wide, but 16 inches long. I have 2 of them. You will see in the slow-mo here in a minute that they are already used, but this block here in the front only has 1 wound track in it, so it shouldn't be too bad. But I have here some factory-loaded 62 grain gold dot we're going to be using as a comparison. And we're going to be comparing that against, like I said, Blake's hand-loaded 62 grain gold dot. He loaded these over 30.2 grains of 2000 MR. You should be seeing also on screen right here the Speer's kind of like recommended loading list for their bullets, which 30.2 grains, I believe, was the like max you can go for, the max they recommend at least for the 2000 MR powder. And I want to say, it's been a minute since I looked at that like loading page again, but I want to say they said the expected velocity is like 3180 or something like that. For whatever reason, right here so you can actually see this, he wrote on there like 3050, 3059, something like that. So I'm not 100% sure about the like discrepancies in velocity. This says like 3059. Speer said 3180. He said in his original comment like 3150, but regardless, we're going to see what they do in this ballistics gel coming out of a 16-inch ballistic advantage barrel. All right, so I got the stock factory-loaded 62 grain gold dot. Got a chronograph set up. Hopefully it'll record it. I've had issues with it occasionally not recording in the past. We'll find out. See what happens. Turn my damn red dot on. Not a red dot, holographic. See what happens. All right, so let's see what we got here. Get the damn ears off a little more comfortable. So overall penetration here, we got 17 inches, it looks like. 17 and a quarter, a little bit more closely. Let's see how this actual wound track looks. Pretty much what I expected. How is this neck? Neck, for the record, is the distance that a bullet will go in ballistic gel before it starts to expand or break up or anything like that. So it's right up here at the very front. About 1.5 inches or so, roughly, is on the neck before it started to expand and cause some of this, you can see right there on that wound track, some of the permanent damage. I'm going to wait to pull that out until we get the second one done, then I'll do a direct comparison between the two. Also, for the record, not sure if I believe this because it seems really low, but the velocity my chronograph recorded was 2467. All right, so I have the hand-loaded 62 grain gold dot. Should be significantly faster, should be. What am I expecting to happen? So, ballistics are weird, and there's gonna be one of 2 things that happen. I'm pretty much positive. It's either going to penetrate, believe it or not, more or less. Now, it's going faster, which means it's going to hit the gel with more energy. It's gonna expand quicker, which means there's gonna be more drag on the bullet for longer. So that's why I could see it penetrating actually less. However, the other area, once again, where ballistics can get wonky, if you push a bullet design too fast, it can cause the bullet to break up, or possibly, this is a soft point, so it kind of mushrooms out. If it's going too fast, that bullet design could kind of like crimp back on itself because it has so much energy, which makes the bullet smaller, which means it's going to penetrate farther. So I think it just depends on how the bullet design works at this increased velocity. Certainly seemed to move the gel block a little more. Let's check it out. All right, so as you should have just seen, it exited out of the bottom of the gel block. So we're gonna try shooting it again. Hopefully I can get it to stay in. Also, hopefully it'll record the velocity because it didn't record it last time. Let's hope it works. I missed the gel block entirely. Let's do it. Let's try it again. Let's try this one more time. I'm trying to hit towards the top of the block. You know, it's with offset. It's not as easy as it looks. I did get velocity on that one, 29.78, so significantly faster. Third time's the charm. I think we might have got to stay in the block. Let's check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Do I have any female followers? If you're a female and you subscribe to me, comment down below. I'm not actually sure. I haven't checked my analytics. But interesting results. So you can see this wound track here on the very bottom. Let me get this out of your way so you can maybe see a little bit better. Let me see. Wound track on the very bottom is the first one I took that popped out the bottom. You should see right there. Second one, that wound track was up here because I missed. Third one, I got to stay in the gel. And I got it nicely kind of on its own up top. So let's kind of compare here. So we had like 17.25 penetration on the stock factory load. 15 inches at the very tip, almost exactly on the hand load. Neck. This is a brand new block and it still has all these like kind of striations in it. I didn't use a heat gun to get it out, but I'm not even gonna bother measuring a neck because there really isn't one. I'll try to get you guys a closer up sort of panning shot, but it doesn't look like there's a neck at all. Now, as you should be seeing if I get like a closer up shot, the temporary, no, they're not temporary stretch, the permanent stretch that you can see in the gel on this top line for the hand load versus this one down here for the factory, significantly more. So I can just look at the two and see, it looks like there is a lot more permanent stretch showing in here on the hand load. Sort of some comparisons here, but this is the factory load. Right there. Roughly 0.49, pretty close. Hand load, high velocity. 0.53. 0.5, no, yeah, 5.3. So you can kind of look at them side by side here and see the hand load here on the right definitely looks like a bit bigger. So some final thoughts with the two that I have left. The hand-loaded high-velocity 62 grain gold dot. It did pretty much what I expected. As I said, when you push bullets faster, one of two things is typically going to happen. It's going to penetrate less because it gets bigger, quicker, more drag, or it's going to expand too much, break up, yada yada, and it's just going to go farther. So it did the first option, which is definitely the better one. You don't want it to just over penetrate because it's like half the size it's supposed to be. But I did manage to find one of the other hand-loaded gold dots. I have no idea how it happened, because this one, it went down out of the table, out of the block anyway, into the table. However, I found it literally on the bottom of this second block, just sitting there like that, stuck up the bottom of it. I don't know how it happened, but I got a second one. And as you should have seen in the sort of like close-ups comparing the size, they do definitely look bigger. So that explains why there was less penetration, because they expanded more widely, more drag. But there's a definite noticeable amount of more expansion. Now, how viable is it? Like, is there a point? So I was kind of surprised. The factory load 62 grain 223 gold dot soft point, it only got me like, I forget what the number was, 24 and change velocity. That was a lot slower than I thought it would be. Okay, I genuinely thought it'd be faster than that, but it's what I got, 24 and change. Now, both of these hand loads that actually stayed in the gel and I found, they both got, give or take a little bit, 3,000 feet per second. Well, that's a significant bump up over the factory load. That's like 600, give or take-ish, feet per second faster. That's significant. So, I mean, in addition to that, we saw, I tried to compare the slow-mos on the camera that I use. Being out here, not at a computer, I can't compare them directly. In addition, the hand load that I got to stay in the gel was towards the top. There was less ballistic gel, so it makes sense that it would kind of expand a little bit more in that direction. But it definitely seemed to move the gel block a little bit more. It seemed like there was more temporary stretch. And from looking at the two wound tracks, it looks like there's more permanent stretch. Now, you pay for that with slightly less penetration. I only got 15-ish inches of penetration. Now, is that a big deal? Not really. The number I use when I do my penetration testing, or ballistics gel testing, is 12 to 18 inches of penetration in ballistics gel. Comments are going to go crazy about this. They always do. So that number is taken directly from the FBI's gel testing, what they decided. Now, I understand nothing about this is to FBI specifications. I'm not the FBI. I'm the Car 131 doing my own testing, simply using their numbers, okay? That's what this number I look for. People a whole lot smarter than me decided that if a bullet penetrates between 12 and 18 inches in ballistics gel, it will typically penetrate deep enough to reliably hit vital organs in a human body. It's not one-to-one. Try to understand this, people. All that kind of culminates in, if you can hand load these 62 grain gold dot bullets, you absolutely should. I genuinely see there's no downside. It has 2 inches or less penetration, but it's still perfectly in that sweet spot, right in the middle of that 12 to 18 inch number I'm looking for. More velocity, more power, still more than adequate penetration, a larger bullet, which is going to cause a larger permanent cavity, which is to say the amount of tissue inside a body that is like physically destroyed by the bullet going through it. It's going to destroy more because it's bigger. There's no downside to it at all. So if you're into hand loading, absolutely. Pick up some of these 62 grain gold dots, hand load them to whatever type of powder you use. Check the recommended hand loading sheet for from Speer. But absolutely, hand load them, and I see no issue with it at all. I would definitely say the hand loads are a step up over the factory loads. Now, is that to say the factory loads are bad? Absolutely not. I've said this in several videos. Speer Gold Dot is one of the big names in self-defense ammo for a reason. They work. Is the factory load a bad load? Absolutely not. Are these hand loads that Blake, once again, thank you for sending them to me. I apologize about how long it took to actually get them done. But are these hand loads better? I would say so. The video, found it informative. Give me a thumbs up. It means a lot. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future. I'm the Car 131, signing off.